Hello, beautiful. I'm your host, Nicole Goff. Welcome to the Ecstatic Life Podcast, the podcast for women who want to live fully embodied, nervous system regulated, open-hearted, radiant, and alive. Here we explore the practices, modalities, and lived rhythms that return you to yourself, to your heart, to your body, your intuition, and your divine spark. This podcast is for women who are ready to awaken their inner creatrix, activate their inner manifester, and remember, an ecstatic life isn't a destination. It's the path we're walking together. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Ecstatic Life Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Goff, and today I am joined by Lauren Courtney, who is the author of Glow Up Your Chakras. She is the founder of Lauren Courtney Heals and a transformational guide helping people regulate their nervous systems, heal deep-rooted patterns, and reconnect with their authentic selves through modalities like Reiki, breathwork, Kundalini yoga, and sound healing. Lauren supports people in moving from survival mode into alignment, purpose, and self-trust. I'm really excited to dive into conversations around identity shifts, spiritual gifts awakening, nervous system healing, and the messy, beautiful in-between seasons of transformation. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you for having me. Oh my God. I'm like, it's so much. It's so much, so many things. And, we're just these souls having these human experiences.
Oh, I know. It's always like this whole thing with reading bios, right? And I actually like condensed yours a little. I tweaked a little, but like every time I go on somebody else's podcast and somebody reads my bio, it's just this like reflection of like, oh, wow, that's me. Those are aspects of me.
I've been busy. I've been real busy. Gosh.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny. It's funny to have that, reflected back in that way. I hate writing my bio. I'm always like, AI, please do this for me.
Every
It's all in
time.
my head.
Because like you have to like switch it up depending on the podcast and the audience. And it's like, oh my God, like how many times can I change the language for like, this is me.
Yes. Well, and then that comes down to why we're doing this, right? This is me.
Totally.
This is the authentic self. I was told by a recent podcast guest that I was like so much more ecstatic in person. And she's like, yeah, ecstatic life fits you now that I see you in person versus just on social media. She's like, there's something different about the social media, like, a mask or something, I guess. And she's like, in person, you're just ecstatic.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, there is this, getting out there and putting our authentic selves. And it's been, for me anyways, like a process of uncovering just in doing these podcasts, just in hosting them. It's been pretty magical, actually.
Oh, yeah. I was doing my own podcast for about a year, just me having conversations on the fly when I wanted to. And it was so liberating because I wasn't editing, I wasn't recording video. It was just, these are my thoughts and downloads right now. And it was so nice to share in a longer format without it also being video or anything like that and not having that pressure and, finding all the way, like writing the book, right? Like just another way to put myself out there. And I'm just be like, okay, like it's funny because let me get the message right now while we're here. Like those two things that I initially did were things where you can't see me, right? Like I'm not hiding my voice. I'm speaking my truth and I'm not afraid of my truth, but don't look directly at me. Right. And it kind of goes right into our conversation of like, I'm in such an identity shift where I'm being called more forward to like speak to the camera and speak on stage and speak, right? And you can't always hide. So I've done a lot of podcasts over the last year and it's been a really beautiful opportunity to just like get comfortable being on the camera.
Yeah. Well, this actually brings me right to something that I was going to bring up eventually anyways. You have the most juicy B-roll of you like dancing in a thong on social media. And I'm like, I've like seen it on a couple of your, your reels. And I'm like, oh, I'm so fucking inspired.
Thank you for saying that. I'm dancing in a bikini. I had just gotten out of the sauna and like came home to take a shower. And I've been, it's like I'm all like, we're always all doing the work, right? Like I've been like in my work at the next level, and I had a tongue tie release in May, which I'm sure having children, you're aware of the tongue tie. So I had a tongue tie for 41 years undiagnosed, had 3 jaw surgeries. It's what led ultimately to the subtitle of my book, Medicated to Meditated. But anyway, so I had this tongue release, and it brought me into so much awareness of my disconnection from my pelvic floor and just all of these things that I've like been unwinding and unraveling and pulling the threads on my life to like figure out the great mystery. The tongue tie was the great mystery, but now I'm in unraveling of the mystery. And I realized like so much of my sexual energy and identity I had given away so often or was shut down. I wrote a 3-part Substack called Did You Come Yet? I was trying to remember the name. It's called Did You Come Yet? Part 1, 2, and 3. Because I started remembering these early sexual memories of pressure over pleasure. And like, oh, did you come yet? Are you going to come? Did you come yet? What? What? Like, what? Like, as a grown woman now, like, I can obviously see how that wasn't supportive for me and was putting so much pressure on my body to perform. So I had this like whole unraveling and awakening about this, like over the last probably like, well, year since my tongue was released, but the last 6 months. And I started just diving in like with my own self-love and connection, which I think we all as women can do more of, and spending time in front of the mirror and loving yourself just for who you are. So I was like just dancing with myself. I was like having this moment of connection, and I was like, you know what? Just record this. Like, you don't have to do anything with it. Just record it. And the next day I was like, I have to post this. And then I was like, I have to post this again. And I was like, oh my God, like, is this drawing the wrong attention? Like, what, like, because that's the old version that like would do this because like, oh, I want something, and the pressure and like, right, like this duality of dance that I was in, where now I'm taking the power back. So having you actually say that to me is such a confirmation of how when we do the work, we alchemize things and shift timelines for ourselves. So like, look at that. We're just like doing the work in real time.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
I know I just said a mouthful there.
No, I felt like every word of it. I love that so much. Yes, alchemizing it, doing it in real time. And it's funny that that was the piece that I gravitated to so quick to like bring out, and that really encapsulates a lot of like what you wanted to talk about today too. Like this becoming, yeah, the messy in between. And I really resonate. So I resonate with what you're saying about the performative aspect, and I'm still unpacking all of that with the performative aspect of my sexuality and my being seen in the world and what it means to be witnessed by men versus witnessed by other women, judgments, self-judgments. And so I've been playing around with that a lot myself. I'm an ecstatic dance facilitator and like an avid ecstatic dancer.
I love, there's nothing like that movement, that just the release that you can get within somatic dance. I when I first moved out to LA, I don't live there anymore, but for this year and my mediumship had opened up, I didn't know anyone that lived there, but I found this ecstatic dance like on Sunday mornings. I was like, I'm just like gonna start going to that. And I probably was smoking a joint before I went. And I'd go and I'd start having mediumship experiences where I'd see like my grandmother come in through someone's body, and then like that person would make their way over to like ecstatic dance with me. And it would happen with all. So it's such a weird time. I literally never even talk about this stuff. I should. But like I'd go through these experiences with like multiple ancestors, and like I just kept going back for weeks and like seeing my ancestors, my friends that had passed away. And then eventually like I made some friends and stopped going because I had cleared up whatever I needed to clear up in that moment. But my point is, it was very powerful.
That makes my experience, like I thought my experience was powerful of like dancing shame and grief out of my body and like embodying my like inner like cat woman crawling on the floor and
I
roaring
mean,
like a
that is
lion.
powerful shit though. Like so different. So different. Like, and I feel like I don't go there as much. I just get like real weird doing what I do.
No, I want to dance with my fucking ancestors. What do you like? How do I call that in? Oh, I host an online. I just started today. This morning was my very first one. I am now hosting an online weekly ecstatic dance.
I love
Just
that.
saying, if you want to
You'll
dance
have
with
to
me.
tell. So what day is today? Today is Friday. Okay,
Yeah.
great. I will be there.
Awesome. Yeah, link in the show notes.
And please, I will be in the show notes. I'll see you guys in ecstatic dance Friday morning.
Yes. Well, okay. So you touched on a couple of other things that I'm interested in, like going these directions. So which way do we go? Let's go. You mentioned marijuana. You mentioned getting high before. So I know that that has been a part of your journey. So moving, and I know you told me when we were talking offline that you don't really vibe with the word sobriety, but you've moved from a place of um, using substances for whatever reasons to choosing not to. So I would love to talk about that a little. That is also a journey that I've been on. I was doing all the things for my anxiety, my PTSD, and anything I could get my hands on to shut the voices up and get the fuck out of my body, which felt really uncomfortable. And from that space, it's been a long journey of moving into now where last night I had a celebratory drink. We just sold a house. And so I'm like, I want a cocktail. And that feels like in the spirit of celebrating, it felt like the appropriate thing to do, but that it's not something that I now turn to for, let's say, escapism or numbing feelings or these kinds of things. So yeah, I would love to go there with this conversation.
So I totally resonate and relate to what you're saying. My journey, like I started in high school taking medicine for ADD. My senior year of high school, I had my first of a series of 3 jaw surgeries. So I was on painkillers, muscle relaxers, and anti-inflammatories. I didn't understand back then that my nervous system wasn't regulated, especially, and there's also so many layers to my understanding. So I'll try not to go everywhere. But I didn't I had these 3 jaw surgeries. So from 17 to 24 and was medicated on pills. I was also on the ADD medication from 9th grade. I had a lot of trouble because of the ADD medicine eating, because it took away my appetite. So I started smoking weed and making it okay, now I smoke weed to deal with this pill because all they wanted to give me was another pill to deal with the pill that they gave me in the first place, right? Like I went through I was medicated journey. I had my last jaw surgery when I was 24 years old. And at that point, I was like, I'm not taking pills anymore. I had my jaw broken, rubber banded shut for 8 weeks, reconstructive jaw surgery, palate expanded. And I was like, I'm just going to keep smoking weed. That's it. At the same time, when I used to drink in my 20s, I would black out a lot. I didn't understand that I was a soul having a human experience. These are all things I learned later. 10 years ago, I went through my spiritual awakening at the biggest part of it. My best friend passed away. He overdosed. It was shocking to me. If it had been 10 years prior, wouldn't have been shocking, but he was in a good place. Anyway, whole story. Talk about it in the book. But I started going through my awakening at that point, and I moved out to LA. And kind of just stopped drinking, not consciously. I was just living in LA and it was much more cannabis heavy. I was working in cannabis. So I'm still consuming out there. Really incredible medicine. That's how I really looked at the cannabis I was consuming in California. It was incredible medicine, was helping me accept the mediumship and the awakening I was going through. At the same time, I started understanding through an article I found, and I write about this also, that when you drink spirits, you're letting spirit in. And that's why I would black out, because I was I am so light and energetic and this like beautiful being that when I would drink, my soul would, they say, like, if it kind of hangs out on this tether outside of you, but it leaves you open for other energies to come in. And those heavier, darker energies, which I understand now, it's just people and things that were trying to use me as a channel, but I wasn't an available channel at that time because I didn't understand. So I would just fall asleep. I would just black out. Like I would just, like that was it. Like goodbye. And then the next morning, wake up and, I'd be back to myself, but I would feel terrible. Not understanding that it wasn't only the alcohol, but it was also the energies and the spirits and such running through. Anyway, fast forward or rewind. But fast forward, I got sober for 5 years. I moved from LA to Miami and officially gave up drinking, officially gave up smoking cannabis. It was after some Bufo ceremonies that I sat in, which is a whole other story. Unplanned. I didn't know I was planning to get sober, but my mediumship at that time, it's like emotional. It was so strong. And I needed to figure out how to like deal with it. And I knew I need, like, my acupuncturist at the time explained it to me in the most beautiful way. She was like, you're using substances right now as like closing the screen door on your house, but you have a front door and you're not closing the front door. So you're letting things seep in. And I needed to learn how to have boundaries with spirit, just the same as I needed to also learn how to have boundaries with people. It was like a crazy time. So I gave up substances for 5 years, studied body work, was like deep in my journey. And probably, I guess, like maybe it was 3 years ago now, I let substances back in. It was like an occasional drink here and there. I realized I had no addiction to alcohol. I grew up with a father who did, and I read about this. So like, Dad, I'm not saying anything I haven't said already. I grew up with a dad who only drank wine and beer. He didn't drink liquor. I didn't learn until I was about 21 that he didn't drink liquor because he had an alcohol problem. But with wine and beer, it wasn't the same experience that he it led him to actually getting sober for 5 years too. So it's been this like beautiful journey, my making the choice that I made and the decision. So I realized I didn't have an issue with it. I was also guided to let cannabis back into my life because I went deeper into my healing experience. And this is what led me to find the tongue tie. It led me to Kundalini yoga, breath work, all these different things, training for Kundalini. I know this is such a long answer to the question that you're asking me.
No, it's beautiful. I am here for it.
And then 6 months ago, I guess it was around 6 months ago, September 25th, it was my dad's birthday. We went out for dinner and I had a cocktail and I was like, hey, I'm just like not going to drink for a while after this. There was no reason. It was just kind of like, I think I'm just like going to pause. I think I just like need to pause. I'm going to do sober October. And I still haven't had a drink. I was thinking about possibly having a cocktail with friends this weekend while I go and do something. But like, I'll see if it feels aligned. I'll have one. Kind of like you said, it felt aligned. I was in celebration. I did let cannabis back in last week while I was in New York, legal city. I was guided to do that. And I had a really beautiful experience. And have journaled about it and I'm integrating it now. So I realize that like these things are medicine when used properly because spirits, alcohol is a form of medicine as well as cannabis. So if you can, I'm running a group right now. It started this week. It's called Glow Up Recovery. It's kind of like my next level from Glow Up Your Chakras. And it's about the embodiment part. Because if I did it right, like you said, I could have easily stayed disconnected and floating out here and doing all the things and stayed disembodied. But I'm here to have this human experience and I'm here to be a soul having this experience and I'm here to heal others, right? I'm just like Michael Jackson, heal the world, make it a better place. But like for real, like for real. Now I'm hearing a quote from the movie Blow, like Derek fucking for real. And this is like that's how it fucking works. Then. Um, but like I'm just like we can't take it so seriously. I guess that's the point they're trying to get across, like spirit's trying to get across. Like it can't be so serious. Healing can't be so serious. I would have never unraveled all of the things within myself if I wasn't willing to get uncomfortable and also like be willing to like fuck up and get it wrong. And that's what the identity shifts are. You know, we talk about timeline jumping, we talk about quantum leaping, but it's like the quantum leap is actually embodying your truth. The timeline healing is actually coming back to your truth. Like all of this is about like coming back to your identity. And can your identity shift? Of course. Absolutely. Because you stop identifying with a part of you.
Yes, and it's really what I'm hearing also. It's about that true identity, that self beneath the physical self. You know, it's coming back to that true self, the spirit self, that the soul, whatever you want to call it, the eternal self, and uncovering that really.
Yeah. Because like for me, my belief is I didn't come here as an alcoholic or an addict or any of these things. With that, I had a lot of experiences that led me on that journey and path in this lifetime. So my belief is that I came into this lifetime with one of my desires and one of the karmas that I wanted to play out in this lifetime is addiction. Why I wanted to choose that? God only fucking knows, right? Only God knows, because I don't remember right now. When I get back, I'll find out why I chose it. But like, I chose to experience addiction. Like, my first love passed away from an overdose. My best friend a few years later also passed away from an overdose from kindergarten. Like, I chose to be surrounded by this. And I know plenty of others from where I grew up. And I chose to have that experience. And if it's because I'm meant to heal others from the experience they're having and helping them realize like, hey, like it's not about the addiction. It's about what is deeper and like, where do you really need to go? And is it physical? Is it mental? Is it emotional? Is it spiritual? Like, let's figure it the fuck out together. Or is it that I was simply here to heal it within myself and now send that ripple out by simply just existing and knowing like that is also enough.
Boom. You know, I want to say that I as well, like I have, I think my karmic thing that I came in was, uh, sexual abuse. And I experienced in my teens, some experiences that, you know, it's real heavy shit, and I've gotten over it. And what I hear you saying is that, you know, you see this now as a gift, right? As I do with my experiences. This is something that I was meant to overcome so that I could bring my gifts to the world. But I also want to recognize you that that's some really, on the physical plane, in the material life that we're living in, that's some really hard shit to overcome, especially when from a young age, these surgeries, they are giving you the pills. I mean, the ADHD medicine, which is medication, which is super addictive, and the painkillers, which are super addictive. And I know this exact story from many friends of mine that I grew up with who are still in very bad places or not on this plane anymore. And so just to recognize that journey, and while you condensed it, you know, for the podcast, you know, we're talking about serious spiritual growth. And I see that because I know what that feels like, and not necessarily with the journey of addiction, but with the journey of overcoming my victimhood story. You know, I know what that feels like, and we can condense it down, but that's, you know, tens of years of work, spiritual growth, putting in the hours to learn the practices and do the practices and have unshakable faith at some point we can. And that's deep stuff. So I just want to recognize you for that.
Thank you. I think sometimes it's so easy to forget, right? Because it is condensed now. I literally condensed it into a book with the intention that it no longer lives inside of me now. Like, that was who I identified with for the first 42 years of my life. I mean, maybe not 42, but that's when the book came out. But that's who I identified with. And it's only now, a year after publishing it and putting it into the world, that I'm like, I'm finally free.
Oh my gosh. I am having like chills right now. I'm 42. I committed to writing my book, which is the same kind of, you explained your book to me before we hit record. And it's the same kind of memoir. It's like that exact same blueprint. I committed to writing my book. I got the outline down, the rough outline. By the end of this year, next year, I will be 43 as well. So it's just, that seems a little synchronistic. And I feel like the same thing. I've been carrying this story, and it's been on my heart to write the book for 10 years. For a decade, I've been wanting to write this book, but I've been carrying this story since I was a teenager, telling that story over and over. And I'm ready to get it out of my body, get it in this physical book, put it out to the world, and to hope that it helps other women be inspired to heal. Because it's also that, it's never too late. And if I can do it, and if you can do it, anybody can do it, right?
100%.
Wow.
100%. Yeah. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. It's such a beautiful, messy process. And it's something I've been considering. It's funny because we talked about, like, what do I have coming up next? And this interior design process that I want to start walking people through, I know is ultimately to support them in writing books. So I'm like, okay, that feels very confirmed.
Whoa, that was juicy stuff. Okay. So actually, while we are on the subject of your book, I would love, like, just a little bit, a plug for your book. I would love to give my audience a preview, because you told me a little bit about it before we hit record, and it sounded really fun, like this journey through the chakras. And honestly, this is a subject that I would like to have more knowledge on, to, like, so I am very curious to pick it up and read it myself. Is it out on audiobook? I am such an audiobook person.
It's not. I had, because I have the tongue tie, I wanted to wait till I got to a place where I actually felt enough strength to be able to fully read the book. Because of my jaw and everything, which is wild. Like it used to be so exhausting for me to talk. I didn't know that I didn't know I could live in a life where it wouldn't be exhausting. So I'm hoping, in the next few months to make the time and space to do an audiobook. But for now,
you'll have to update, because I am definitely an audiobook girly, and I would love that. And before you get started, one question. Is the throat chakra the chakra that you felt was, like, blocked?
It was my biggest chakra that I got to work through. And not only that, according to my gene keys, my purpose in this lifetime is to intoxicate people with my words. And the only thing that will get in the way of me intoxicating people with my words is intoxication.
You can't make that shit up.
Tell me I didn't come here to experience addiction without telling me I didn't come here to experience addiction. And like someone I didn't know, like, I was on a group call, like, this was years ago, and he had the person leading it had this gene key specialist come on, and she only read 2 people in the entire group, and I was one of them. And that was the fucking message I got. I was like, damn. And I was very much in my sobriety at that time. I was like, oh my God, I can never use again. Like, I'll fuck up everything. And, like, obviously I learned, like, the point of all of it. Yeah. So the book is Glow Up Your Chakras, from Medicated to Meditated. It's on Amazon. And this year I'm going to work to get it into stores, but I started with Amazon, nice and easy. And it's a journey. I'll say that it's a journey. So it's a memoir meets chakra healing guide meets eating for your intuition and chakra recipes. So my background was as a holistic health coach and private chef. And when I went through my spiritual awakening, my mediumship, I founded Reiki, sound healing, etc. Learned all about the chakras, and I basically tell my highs and lows of my chakras and my stories and journeys to help other people feel safe to release their own shame behind their stories. So I talk about losing my virginity on ecstasy and how that affected my root chakra. So people can also feel less shame around probably not that specific story, but whatever story they might feel shame behind. I used to say all the time, not that I was ever thinking about running for president, but I was like, I would never run for president or right? I would never allow myself to be seen because I wouldn't want people to find out my stories. So I was keeping myself small in so much of my life. And I think so many of us do that because we feel this shame and fear and judgment and, the judgment from self, from outside of ourselves. So we protect ourselves, right? We just stay hidden and stay small. So my intention when I wrote this book and infused it with Reiki and the energy is, as you read this, free yourself from your stories because it's not that fucking bad. It's not that fucking bad. Yes, your stories are probably fucking awful. You've probably been through shit. We've all been through shit, but you survived. You survived. So it's what was this here to teach you? And so as I wrote this book, it was yeah, I watched my ex-boyfriend get arrested by 7 undercover cops in my home. And then I went down to the precinct to and I read about all of it, right? And I got to relive and re-experience and re-trigger the PTSD and all these things. Because if I'm willing to go there within myself, then I'm creating that ripple to anyone else who picks up this book. Whether you pick up this book and read it, you'll get something out of it. If you pick it up and just hold it, you're going to get something out of it because it's just simply in your field. And that was really one of my biggest intentions when I wrote it, because not everyone knows me, right? You might not feel compelled to get my book. You might not relate to my story, but all the people that I would think would relate the least to my book, or I wouldn't consider, right? They're the ones that reach out and they're like, wow, I didn't think I'd relate to you so much. And yeah, so that's a bit about this in a more esoteric way.
What I hear is shame slaying and opening the permission field for other women. And those are two things that I am 150% about.
I love
Yeah, no, I'm all about slaying that shame. Say that 10 times fast also. I mean, putting things out there, and that's part of what I want to do with my book as well. Is because there's all of those skeletons in the closet, dirty little secrets, things that I thought if people know this about me, I might die. I will be out.
Literally.
Yes. Yeah. And
so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. For what?
Yeah. And I don't know if it's something about coming into my 40s. I mean, it is, the no fucks 40s, which I am loving. After so many years of judgment of myself and worry about what other people think of me.
Love that. I've never heard the term, but I am here for the no fuck 40s because it was a quantum leap and stepping into this new version.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a combination of that and of doing the inner work, doing the healing, and with putting this kind of stuff out here. And the more I talk about my story personally, and it sounds like you the same, the more I share these, deep, dark pieces of myself, the more liberated I feel to be me, the more authentic I feel. And I find that rather than people being repulsed and backing away from me, that it brings people in.
Yeah.
It opens that permission field for other women to do the same and to say, like, hey, we've all got these things, You lost your virginity on ecstasy. I, after my, traumatization, slept with 100 different men trying to find love and safety and security.
Oh, girl, the way that we look for love with our pussy. I've been there.
It doesn't end up ever working out when you're going at it from that direction either. I mean, you can find love in your pussy and with your pussy, but not in that way. I will tell you that.
No.
Not when you're looking for the validation of being a decent person. That's for
Totally. Yeah, I blame it a lot on like growing up listening to Lil Kim and the power of the pussy. I think it just like shaped part of who I am because it does, right? Music shapes us in so many ways. The music we listen to, the movies we watch, the TV shows, all of it shapes us. And like, I was listening to like some like really, we got some stories.
Yeah, 90s kids. For me, it was the 9 Inch Nails. And we've gone on a tangent. Reel it in, bring it back in. Nervous system healing.
Nervous system healing. Nervous, because we got to heal from all the things we went through, right? Like all the things we put ourselves through. And sometimes there's just physical, right? Like with my tongue tie, my tongue wasn't connecting to the roof of my mouth. I didn't even know that like it was supposed to be resting in a specific way. And because it wasn't resting there, I wasn't in connection with my vagus nerve. So I was never getting out of fight or flight. I'd get out periodically through all the work that I was doing. It's why I was working extra hard. But I didn't understand that there was a root cause to why I was in fight or flight. And I think that's something actually so important I want to talk about for a second, because this is really the healing journey. So when I studied body work, I trained in body work. I had like, I did like years, right? As we know, sound healing, holy fire Reiki, Karuna Reiki, studied with a shaman, plant medicine, all the things. All of those things led me to realizing I don't breathe properly. Like, I don't breathe properly. That was like I had these two really clear moments. I was in Romania and then I was in Egypt. And the first one was something happened to me at my birth. Something happened to me at my birth and I don't know what it is, but I need to figure it out. I was in Romania at a bodywork training. Right after that, I went to a breathwork retreat in Egypt. I was like, I don't think I breathe properly. Like, I can't get these breaths. Like, I just want to fall asleep when we're doing breath work. And it led me to then studying Kundalini yoga. Fast forward through this whole process, I meet this girl randomly through online. She comes to my class. She's a myofunctional therapist based in Canada, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole story. I've talked about it a million times. I would talk about it forever. But she diagnoses me with a tongue tie. And I start going to doctors because she can't legally treat me. She's from Canada. I start going to doctors here. I get diagnosed. When I got that diagnosis, the initial one from her, even that day, we did measurements. It was like a whole thing. I just my whole body started to release. Like, I just started to cry. I was like, oh my God, someone finally understands me and hears me. Like, someone gets it. Like, I told her about my surgeries, all the things that I had went through. I told her about ADD. I told her, right, all the things we've talked about. And she tells me how many of the symptoms that I've had and the things that I went through are related to an undiagnosed tongue tie. So anyway, I started talking about this on social media. And I comment on like someone's post about a jaw. And I was like, oh my God, like, I just find out I had a tongue tie. I'm dealing with it, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm so thankful that this is being talked about more. And someone responds to my message and says, like, well, what a healer you are, because if you're really a healer, you would know that Jesus will heal you and you would just pray. And I laughed because there's emotional healing, spiritual healing, physical healing, and mental healing, financial, right? There's so many different things. I did the emotional healing. I did the spiritual healing. I saw myself. I loved myself. I figured out who the fuck I was. And I was still struggling. So I kept doing the work and I found the root cause for the physical pain that I was experiencing that was leading to a lot of other things, right? And I'm supposed to sit here and be like, Jesus, save me, right? It's like that story of like the guy at the house and they send the boat and the plane and all the things. And it's like, no, God will save me. It's like God's sending all these things. So, right, I have the answer. Am I going to sit here and be like, oh, Jesus will take care of it? Or am I going to go and have the procedure done? And I think that's like one of the things I've learned the most over the last 2 years. And like continuing to deepen my journey and like continuing to shift my identity and evolve, because healing comes in so many ways, shapes, and forms. Like I am not simply the answer for everyone, because there's so like I may be able to. I got a client recently. She came to me with some stuff that was going on with the pelvic floor, etc. I said to her, my intuition was like, we need to do 7 sessions together. And she was like, but what about after? I go, I'm just telling you what my intuition is telling me. Like by week 7, there's going to be very, very clear answers for you. Week 5, she met a doctor that understood her for the first time and knew exactly what was wrong. Right after her 7th appointment, she had a procedure. She has her follow-up this week. She's doing amazing. She's like, I'll see you when I get back from the summer. Because she lives in Miami. They leave for the summer. I'm not here to hold you captive. Like, I'll never hold a client captive. Like, you need my work. Because there's something else you might need after me. Like, I didn't need one thing. I needed multiple things, and to go on this dance and journey and to give myself that permission. Anyway, I went in a whole other direction.
No, I was right there with you. That was amazing. And like, what's like coming up for me too. It's like the reason why I do this podcast, or part of the reason why I do this podcast. I will say some of it is selfish in being witnessed and in being able to like use my voice and what I personally get from that. But the bigger mission is because some woman out there will be listening and she's going to hear that and she's going to feel so validated and so seen for the very first time. And she's going to be able to follow that trail of breadcrumbs to her healing. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Like, and it's because we do the things we do because we needed it the most. We needed it the most. Like, you want to be witnessed. Like, this gets to be about you. Like, you're doing good in the world, but like, you get to be selfish. I want to have a podcast. I want people to listen to me. Wait, fuck yes. Like, fuck yes. Fuck yes. Like, people should listen to you, right? Because you are worthy of that. Just as much as anyone else is worthy of starting a podcast, simply because they want to be witnessed, right? I wrote a book like because I wanted to heal myself and create that space for others, right? But ultimately it was like, I have to get this out of me or I'm going to die. Whether or not I publish it, I don't care, but I've got to get this out of me. And now the ripple that it's created is a beautiful thing because people can heal from it. But like, when we don't do the things that we feel called to do, we're denying a part of ourself that wants to live.
Yeah. And I think it's the same with healing. And especially I find this with like physical symptoms. It's like the first knock might be a little quiet knock, like, hey, here's this thing that you should be doing. Oh, there's this little pain in your shoulder. There's this little like inkling of an idea. And then the knock gets louder and louder, kind of like my daughter knocking on my door a few minutes ago. The knock gets louder and louder. And it's like, if you don't listen, shit starts going sideways.
Yeah.
And that's when you get chronic disease. That's when you get, anxiety or other psychiatric disorders. This is when things start getting really squirrely if you don't listen. Your body your intuition, your higher self. It's all there telling you these messages. And if we don't connect with it and we don't get quiet and listen and then do the work, it usually doesn't go well.
No, it's what creates dis-ease. It's disease is dis-ease. Like, I know, we know. We know. We know. It's funny, I forget sometimes. I saw this post on social media the other day that was like, if you're not fully expressing and sharing your gifts, like you're not really being of service, because you think we in the healing community, someone listening to this podcast, right? Like we're in this work on some level. On some level where we're doing healing, we're listening, we're trying to better ourselves. There's a whole fucking world that's asleep. And, the thing that I remind myself all the time when like I want to fall back asleep, because like, I have those moments where I'm like, oh my God, why did I choose this one? Like, this is the one I chose. Can't I go back to sleep? But in those moments, it's like, no, you have to stay awake. Like you get to stay awake because your being awake is creating a ripple. And it's so important that we continue to stay awake and continue to, ruffle feathers and shake people, not always ruffle feathers. Some come easily than others, some are more willing to have their spiritual journey. And then there's your parents. I'm just kidding.
Or your husband.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not go there.
Yeah. So, stay woke. Stay woke, as they say. That's a terrible thing. I'm just hearing the lyrics of a song, so I should be clear. I'm just hearing that song. Stay woke, little freak. It's red
podcast
bone.
that is all about songs, because I'm feeling a theme here.
I that song Jukebox Hero. I got a funny story when I was living in LA. I was taking a shower and that song came on. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, this is what my guides are telling me. Angels, guides, and loved ones. So like it'd also be my loved ones very often. I'm like, I'm a jukebox hero. And they like play me specific songs when each of them comes through. And that was like a new identity. That was a new identity for me to try on at the time. Like, I'm the jukebox hero. I know everyone communicates to me in songs.
Okay, well, so yesterday I was driving and I was like, God, I need a clear sign about this specific thing. And the next song that came on the radio, I was like, boom, that's it. That's the sign. It happened to come in the form of Outcast.
That's how you know, though, like, it's the signiest sign, because it's Outcast. Like, what? Like, hey, isn't that Outcast? Or is that the Black Eyed Peas? Oh,
sorry, Miss Jackson. Oh. I am for real. Right, so that's a next time karaoke episode. We are like at our hour, as like, oh my God, this has gone by so fast. And I feel like before we like close out, taking a deep breath and coming back to what was like most on your heart, which was the messy, beautiful in between. You wanted to open up into that for this conversation. That was what was most on your heart. Do you feel like we hit that?
I think we hit all of the messy in between. I feel like I've really bared all of my messy in between, which is so great, because I think so many of us go through it, right? Whether you're in it right now, a messy in between, whether you're going through one in the future, and right, it could be a breakup, it could be a friendship ending, it can be a change in career, it could be knowing you need to move and shift your life, right? There's this messy in between that we get to go through and experience. So like, right, we get to grow through it. We get to grow through these experiences. And like my tongue-tied journey that I went on over the last, it's almost like 3 years now, like the diagnosis and all of it. It's funny because it feels like the messiest journey that I've gone on because it's the most like present, right? In this moment. But like losing my best friend and first love, like, oh my God, it was the messiest season of my life. So, I think there's this just reminder. It's even a reminder to myself right now. Like the messy seasons end. The messy seasons end, and there's so much beauty after that messy season ends, right? For the lotus has to go through the mud. And, I want to remind myself and remind anyone listening, like, go through it. Like keep going, even in the unknown, even when people are questioning you, even when it feels scary, even when you feel alone, even when you're questioning, like your sanity sometimes. But like, be mindful, like always be mindful. If you need some support, therapy, coaching, all of this is available. But be willing to go through it because the other side is so beautiful every time. And now I'm hearing Miley Cyrus, it's the climb, but like it really is a climb. Like I don't even listen to that. That's hilarious. Like, but it really is a climb because we're building to new heights. We're at a new level. Keep building, keep growing. If you need a plateau for a while and take a basic camp, like do that. And then be willing to keep going again. And that's where I'm at right now. Like I said, I have this new program right now, Glow Up Recovery, and I launched it and the women are in it and we're going and we're doing 16 weeks together. And my intuition is like that program I won't do again because there's this other one that wants to come through that's so different. There are similar pieces, but it's so different. And it's like knowing and trusting that this new process is what wants to be born from the middle that I've been in.
Yeah, the messy middle. I just came out of a little messy middle. It was a little one this time, luckily. Just a tiny identity crisis. Now on the other side, I'm feeling super liberated. But yeah.
I heard the term the other day, identity shift. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. And this morning I was at the dog park and I was thinking to myself how I'm in this identity shift. And I was like, oh my God, that's a great rebrand for an identity crisis. Like who NLP'd that? Like someone got an identity crisis, a great PR agent, because like an identity shift. Oh, she's cute. She's cute, but like an identity crisis. Oh my God, I don't have time for an identity crisis, but a shift. All right. I could take time for an identity shift.
I feel you. And I also want to highlight the get to versus the have to. I caught that in your language. You shifted the have to the get to. That's something I'm working on also. I have been working on for a couple of years. I get to do the dishes. I get to clean my house. Because that's such a good shift too. It's these little things in our language. Our language shapes so much, and just shifting these little things, little identity shifts, it can make such a difference. It brings such like conscious awareness to our experience, and the experience of have to versus the experience of get to, the experience of a crisis versus the experience of a shift. I mean, we're shaping our reality.
I'd say like the majority of my work with my clients is, yes, there's a lot of energy healing and so much is a language shift. So much. Like the first usually 25, 30 minutes of our calls, our sessions are sharing what's going on, updates, etc., and shifting language. And then we go into our healing experience. And I took an NLP training years ago, not really knowing why. I just did it. I think it was kind of during the pandemic. So I was like, I'm going to sign up for NLP hypnosis and timeline therapy. I obviously need to do that next. And it changed so much of how I speak. And like had me be able to slow down and articulate so much better And I have my moments, of course, where, I like, and, I'm still like a Long Island girl in here. And it's allowed me to shift so much, which I find so interesting. And when we can start looking at our language and our words, like you said, like I get to, I don't have to, I get to. It changes the frequency of everything. I did this with my mom the other day. I can't quite remember the things she said. He was like, I have to go to dinner with so-and-so. And I was like, and I get to. And I was like, doesn't that feel better? It wasn't a dinner though, whatever it was. And she was like, I guess it feels a little better. And I was like, okay. Feel a little, don't be too resistant of the change. But yeah, it's always fun to work with.
And that's neuro-linguistic programming for anybody that doesn't know what NLP is. I actually have signed up for and started that course as well. So,
and now it will be when you say something, you'll be in the immediate shift because it like now it's like a stop. It's like, oh, rewrite, reprogram. I learned this from a card years ago. Cancel, clear, delete. Cancel, clear, delete. If you're having a thought you don't like, cancel, clear, delete. If you say cancel, clear, delete, cancel, clear, delete, cancel, clear, delete, like right, control, alt, delete, whatever it is, and then replace the text.
Yeah, I love that. Any other last tidbits? Anything that feels like juicy that you want to like leave my audience particularly with?
I've got some amazing freebies that I feel called to share that you can access from my website. Like it's under freebies, some really great sound healings, guided experiences, a chakra experience. Yeah, I just feel called to leave that. And then follow me on Instagram. I have some things percolating. I won't announce them just yet, but I think there will be a new course somewhere in 8 to 10 weeks from now. So if you want to do some identity shifting, start writing your story, whether that's the identity story of what you're letting go of or writing the story of this new identity, we'll be doing a little of both.
Ooh, awesome. And website, what is your website and what is your handle on Instagram?
Website is Lauren Courtney Heals, HEALS.com. And Instagram is IAM Lauren Courtney.
Awesome. I'm going to link those in the show notes for anybody listening. This has been such a fun conversation.
So
It's
fun.
been really like, juicy just keeps coming to mind. I love that word. But this is, we've gone in a lot of directions and it's been a wild ride. I've really enjoyed it. And you're in Miami, huh?
I am. Yeah. Where are you based?
I'm in North Florida. So I'm in between Gainesville and Jacksonville.
Okay. Well, at some point maybe we'll plan like a retreat or something.
Hell yes.
Some healing.
Hell yes. I'll bring the ecstatic dance. And yeah, I am so down. That's like one of the things that I am most alive about right now is co-collaborating with other women in in-person settings. Like this is like the most juicy thing to me.
Well, I was just obviously feeling it in the field.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Want to dance with me? Go deeper with me? Have me in your back pocket, literally? Join the Ecstatic Life Academy on the Go Collab app. Link in show notes.